Now, what is the prophetic global expectation in 2018? Begin to write them down. And I will read it very quickly. Therefore, we must pray against some natural disaster in Africa continent. Therefore, we must pray against some natural disaster in Africa continent. Very strong winds from the sea. I saw a very strong wind from the sea. The sea overtaking a city. The sea overtaking a city, and they call it a natural disaster. Up to the point that a nation will be declared with state of emergency. State of emergency. People of the Lord, and I see it's happening also in South Africa, in Southern region, including Angola, Nigeria, Ghana. Quick.
Authorities in Nigeria say more than 100 people have been killed in the floods across the country in the past 2 weeks. Heavy rains have caused the country's two major rivers, the Niger and Benue, to overflow. Dozens of communities have been completely submerged, thousands of people displaced, and vast swathes of farmlands destroyed. Rural areas are the worst hit. The government is urging residents living along waterways to relocate to higher places. It's also considering declaring a state of emergency to free up funding and ensure a more effective
Therefore, we must pray against some natural disaster in Africa continent. Very strong winds from the sea. I saw a very strong wind from the sea. The sea overtaking a city. The sea overtaking a city, and they call it a natural disaster. Up to the point that a nation will be declared with state of emergency. State of emergency. People of the Lord, and I see it's happening also in South Africa, in Southern region, including Angola, Nigeria, Ghana.
Nigeria floods kill more than 100. More than 100 people have died in floods after Nigeria's two major rivers burst their banks, authorities say. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, says heavy rains caused the Niger River and Benin River to overflow. It has resulted in a series of floods across the country over 2 weeks, with rural areas most vulnerable. The government is urging residents along waterways to relocate to safe places. Thousands of people have been displaced and vast swathes of farmlands have been destroyed by the floods in central and southern Nigeria, says the BBC's Isaac Khalid in the capital, Abuja. Worst hit is Niger State, where more than 40 people have died, NEMA Director Mustafa Yunusami Haja told the BBC. 11 other states have been affected. They are Kwara, Benue, Kogi, Adamawa, Taraba, Kebbi, Bayelsa, Edo, Anambra, Rivers and Delta. Nigerian authorities are considering declaring a state of emergency, saying more floods could hit in the coming days and weeks as heavy rains continue. Nigeria faces flooding almost every year,